Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a match and a series between uThermal and Bly. Starting on Ephemera on the latter edition, top left-hand corner, it is the Red Terran player uThermal. And in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the Blue Zerg player Bly. Alright, man. Two incredibly great players here going at it today. Bly is so fun. He's known to proxy hatch sometimes. uThermal is known to proxy barracks sometimes. So, two cheesers at heart going at it here today. They are professional players. This is from WCS Fall, the group stages. And yeah, I'm pretty darn sure you haven't seen this. And thanks again to Sniper Monkey for going through all of the group stages and finding me the very, very best ones. Sniper Monkey, couldn't do it without you, buddy. All right, so, darn it, the hatch is going up in the usual place. The natural and the barracks is coming up at the top of the ramp. Aw, you guys. No proxying. Come on, y'all. It could be a short game. I'm doing a whole series here. This could easily just be a 5 or 6 minute game. Move on to the second game and nobody's upset, right? I think that's how that works. Or are all you guys just super addicted to macro games? And if it's not a macro game, then you're like, what is this? What is this swill? If it's not over 20 minutes, I'm not going to partake. You know, there are some really fantastic 15 to 17 minute games, right? Like, you understand that? Legacy of the Void has made it, just the recent patches with the increase of the starting workers, has made it so easy to get tier 3 units up in 11, 12, 13 minutes, and then it turns into a crazy game, and it's good. Anyway, Reaper name here is Prequel Mame. You were the chosen sub. It was said that you would destroy the repetitive meme subs, not join them. You're supposed to bring balance to Reddit, not leave it in darkness. Oh yes, you tell him, Obi-Wan. You tell Prequel Memes what's wrong with them. Seriously though, any sub that gets popular at any level turns into a repetitive meme sub. I mean, not that Prequel Memes was anything other than a meme sub. Like, let's be honest here. They were always a meme sub, but they got repetitive because that's what people, the good stuff, people will upvote because they don't see it the first time it comes out every time. Right? Right. So this is a fairly standard opening, by the way. I was going to say, something popular comes through the first time and everybody upvotes it, and then the second time around, a different set of people who didn't see it the first time upvote it, and it gets to the top again. That's why you have crazy reposts on Reddit for the really big subs, is because, well, not everybody's on Reddit 24 hours a day. There are things, even me, I'm on Reddit quite a bit, and even for me, there's stuff like, oh, this is really funny. I look in the comments, and everybody's like, this has been reposted 8 times this month, and I'm like, what? How? But it's the nature of the beast. Anyway, incredible macro opening. You've seen this about 100 times in the last, month or so, depending on how much StarCraft you watch. Yeah, man. It's going to be Hellion opening. We've got a starport following up behind it for Bly. uThermal, or rather for uThermal. Bly, on the other hand, is getting his third base and is macroing this as hard as he can. He's going to send his lings across the map, but really... Oh, did he sneak them past that Reaper? I think he snuck those lings past that Reaper. Not that they should be able to do anything, as there are 2 Hellions in production right now, and they aren't enough lings, nor do they have speed quite yet. They're going to be a little bit annoying, but man, those Hellions just came out and whoosh, faroosh. Yeah, this is why, unless you're going to send your lings out early, like you went 12 pool, don't bother sending them. There's going to be a Hellion follow-up, and you're going to have a bad time with it. So you're still in here, I guess. So he still killed that one ling, didn't do anything else, got it around, checked for extra gases, didn't see him. Knows about the third base, right? He does. He scouted the third base. He wasn't able to stop it from happening. Tumor canceled. Tumor canceled. Tumor canceled. There's the cancel. Okay, yeah. Reapers don't hit creep tumors very hard, but the KD8 charge has a flat 10 damage, and you get it whittled down there. 10 damage is enough to finish it off in that situation, so that was a pretty good call by Bly to cancel that one. Liberator opening from uThermal, interestingly enough. Oh, Ling's getting one of these Hellions anyway. Oh my gosh, he didn't get the Hellion anyway. 5 HP on that thing. Good micro from uThermal. Just slipping out of there. That's what he's all about. I finished Letterkenny. I got caught up, you guys. Now I'm waiting for new episodes like everybody else, which is soon, I think. October? Might be October. Anywho. More Hellions and the Reaper heading on down south to the side of Bly. Bly's got a Roach Fort on the way. He's taking his second gases. Liberator shows up. There is no Spore, surprisingly, so a bunch of drones are going to die here. And by a bunch, I mean 3. 3 seems to be an average number to lose. No spores, man. Wow. Oh, this is annoying stuff. And then the Hellions are going to dart on in to the third base and try to get some stuff done here, too. Oh, he's not even splitting the drones. What are you doing, Bly? Wow, the first Hellion dies after all of the Zerglings over here die. Ugh, 9 drones killed. I don't know if this is surmountable, you guys. I'm just telling you, the higher level you get, the more 10 drones in the first 5 minutes hurts. Because the more the Terran player on the other side of the map is happily and merrily macroing. He got out of there too. 10 kills on that Hellion and 7 kills on that Hellion. They are just effective. Cost-effective bros here. The Queen's going off creep a little bit. They take care of the Liberator? I'm guessing they did. Did they have to, though? Yeah, they did. Alright, the Liberator really shouldn't have died, but if you're worried about microing the Hellions over microing the Liberator, it can't explain what's going on there. But yeah, Tank Marine, +1/+1 coming in for that bio. Just a lot of Marines in production. Tanks on the way here, too. Pretty standard stuff. Roach is heading out across the map with some Ravagers. This is a pretty intimidating timing. If you happen to be a Terran player, this is kind of a 3-base Roach Ravager play. More Ravagers on the way here. Bly's at 38 workers. He's not replacing drones. This feels pretty all in from him. He needs to get a lot of damage done in order to be able to come back from this. There are 2 tanks, but corrosive biles are nice. 1 tank's going to die. Does he have enough biles for the second tank? 1, 2. He does. So he gets both tanks here, but there's a lot of bio remaining. A lot of Ravagers went down to that tank splash before they got removed. Supply depot is getting hammered down. uThermal is not supply blocked at the moment, but it's not going to look good for him over the time here. A little bit overstimmed Marines. They are injured, but they do hit hard. That's the trade-off there. Another supply depot down. More Lings cruising in here. And Bly is droning behind this. He recognizes I'm not going to be able to win the game here, so let's just kill a bunch of stuff. Maybe try to supply block uThermal to some extent. And then just replace those drones we lost a couple minutes ago. So uThermal, nice hold. And again, I just don't see Bly winning this game. I wish he could. And I'm not saying he can't, because I don't know who wins this thing. I don't know who moves on in the group stages. But we can tell ya. Right now, uThermal's in a pretty good spot. Although, Bly does have a 4th base. uThermal's 3rd is injured, although landing, and that's okay. And then we have a double medevac drop here about 7 minutes. Heading down to the 4th. I kind of feel like canceling the 4th would be nice, but also maybe getting some damage here at the 3rd would be okay. But the 3rd is actively being defended by Roaches and Ravagers, and Alaire is coming up from Bly here too. So creep spread, not super great. Little lackadaisical. I think he threw these down a couple minutes ago now. But yeah, looking good. The 1-1 has finished on these Marines, and they do have stim, and they do have combat shield. And they're about as good as they can get here at 7 minutes. So clearing out some tumors. And then once the army shows up, maybe kill a couple of Roaches and a Queen, and maybe pick up and get out. Although, dodging corrosive biles here. There we go. That's too much Zerg, and he does get out of there. Tumors down, Queen down, yada, yada, yada. Just some damage, but the 3rd base coming up is more important for uThermal here. Really keeping the pressure on Bly's side of the map, forcing some Roaches and Ravagers out of him when he doesn't want to make Roaches and Ravagers. He wants to make drones, because he's making 22 right now. You can tell here. According to the production tab, it's 22 drones right now. Glial Reconstitution coming on the way. Roaches turning themselves into Ravagers as they are injured, and as you turn a unit into something else, Banelings, Broodlords, Ravagers, you get a full health on them. Overlords, too, that turn into Overseers. They pop with full health. It's nice. It's a good way to kind of instantly heal up your units and make them better than they were before. Although Corruptor to Broodlord is not exactly better. That's just different, right? You don't always want to change your Corruptors into Broodlords. They're not always super useful, depending on what your opponent is doing. Although Broodlords are pretty good. Sometimes you'd rather have a Corruptor. Killing more tumors out here. Again, Bly's creep spread is being pretty well halted here. Not that he's super committed to it or anything, but man, uThermal is just not making it easy for him either. 1-1 is on the way from Bly. He's working, again, on that Glial Reconstitution, and just more of the same here out of uThermal. He's working on missile turrets. He is worried about a potential Mutalisk tech switch, which is not coming, again, based on the upgrades we're seeing here. Bit of a drop here at the natural base. Going after Overlords instead of drones, which I find a little bit weird. He does kill 1, but the other ones just float away and don't actually die, so that was kind of a waste of DPS in my opinion. But yeah, 3... They're out positioning so the Lings can't get that surround. Then they get the surround, and they have the 1-1, so they're pretty scary. Then drop it in the main base, but Lings are zippy, and they should be able to respond to... Oh, hang on. They're responding to this one. Oh, and the main base gets completely unresponded to here. I guess they are coming up this way, but now, who's defending this guy? Ah, the Roaches and the Ravagers are showing up. So uThermal definitely splitting Bly in 2 directions at once here, which, again, all the best Terran players will do against a Zerg. Unloading, taking down a roach, trying to focus down some drones before they're forced to get out of there. 12, 13. 13 drones down. Crucibles hitting, and I think they might have hit a worker there too. So it is, bam, 64 to 70 workers. Bly has a lead, but not as much as he wants to right now. He's got 4 bases, but uThermal's happily on 3 and has not been bothered at all to this day. 11 roaches in production. I think that's a mistake from Bly. Roach Ravager really starts to lose its effectiveness around 12 minutes in the current meta, which is why you don't see it a whole lot. Banelings help. All right, if you're going to make 15 Banelings to augment, that's great. Also getting Tunneling Claws, surprisingly enough. Big Marine tank army over here. Army supply is even, but this scales better for the Marines than it does for the Roaches, which is why you need these Banelings. A good hit here would go a long way to helping Bly in this game, but sent back. Tanks on the ramp is where you want them. A drop on the right side, taking down to 7 more drones, and the Roaches that are coming to respond are just barely enough. The hatchery at the 4th goes down, and Bly is absolutely getting picked apart right now. uThermal methodically using drops and just straight up frontal assaults to pull Bly in every which way direction at once. Clear and creep at the front, dropping in the main. I mean, are you this good at Terran fans? I don't know that you are. I am not this good as Zerg. I can tell you that much. Bly is just getting handled. Again, the tank count is 4, which is pretty darn intimidating here. 3-3 coming up from uThermal for his bio, too. Oh, this feels... Man, this feels like some Bomber stuff here. This is what Bomber used to love to do. Oh, he's waiting for the hatch to finish. No, he's not. He's not going to wait for the hatch to finish. That is too long, but maybe Bly's not paying attention. He won't cancel it, and then he does. Then he does cancel it. So, wow, Bly's at 3-basing Zerg, and he's just doomed. He's doomed. 3-basing Terran. Resources lost here today are just an astounding 6,700 for Bly and 4,400 for uThermal. Number of bases killed is through the roof. These Roaches are trying to do stuff in the counterattack, but too much macro. The tank Marine is just happy to move it on in there. Attack on the right side, going after more drones. These guys are taking some tank fire. Crucible gets one of the medevacs there, but it's 174 to 140 supply. Dropping in the main base. Roaches are handling that one. This is just absolute concert level work here. What am I trying to say here? Just professional level harassment out of uThermal. And what else do you expect, honestly, when it comes down to ZVT? How many ZVTs has uThermal played against fellow European Zergs? How does he know their tendencies? Yes, he does. And this is a pretty... Okay, so this is really nice for Bly. He's going to win this battle. Yes. Alright, so that medevac does escape with 8 Marines, but then where is the rest of the army here? uThermal can be super effective with a small number of Marines. The 3rd base is going to go down too. Oh, Bly. That is it. I'm calling it. That's your GG. You can't be on 2 bases at 13 minutes and the Terran player be on 4 bases at 13 minutes and really ever hope to win. He's trying to re-expand up along this left side, taking a new base here in the center of the map where his creep is, which is nice. And uThermal doesn't know it exists, which is okay as well here, but he's been so on his back foot, so pacifist right now. I mean, he's trying to go for a Spire, but army supply really, again, in favor of uThermal. I'm not sure this composition is what you want versus a Marine super heavy tank setup here either. uThermal is going in for the jugular. This tank has 14 kills before he gets removed from this earthly plane. Marines and tanks pushing through, trying to find what they can do. Yeah, man, 8 drones down just because they're transferring. They're long-distance mining, rather, from this dead 3rd base. This is just... Burrow Roaches! Alright, Burrow Roach showing up. They did not allow any friendly fire. Nope, no friendly fire killed any tanks there, which is bad. That tank is dead with 7 kills. Just the effectiveness of these tanks as soon as they show up on the battlefield is insane. 19 drones down, 64 to 41 harvesters. Bly is holding on for all he is worth right now, but it is just too much production at a time. There have been no really solid Baneling hits at all. The Roach Ravager stuff is getting worse and worse as time goes on. Is it, though? I think it's about as bad as it's going to be versus 3-3 Marines and Marauders. Versus 3-3 Marines and Marauders, Roach Ravager does not scale. It doesn't hold. In a straight-up battle, Marines, especially Marines and Marauders, of a lesser economic value will wreck Roaches and Ravagers. This base is going to go down. I just don't. Bly is not feeling it today, ladies and gentlemen. If you hate Zerg, this is the game for you, man. This is absolutely... Okay, a couple things died of friendly fire there. A little bit of annoying stuff here. Tanks taking Corrosive Biles. uThermal dodging them pretty effectively there. Baneling target fired, getting some decent hits off. But overall, it's just too much here. The 3-3 getting healed up by Medivacs. He's actually trying to kill this hatchery. The transfuse is not enough. Oh, uThermal brings everybody into the tank. Fine. 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks. The Ravagers are pretty good at taking damage, but unloading here too. Dodging the Corrosive Biles once again. Lings do take down a single tank back there, so the tanks are actually gone, and the Medivacs leisurely head home. But that's your good game. uThermal is the winner of game number 1 here in 15 minutes and 54 seconds. And that is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Just an amazing, amazing display from uThermal. Bly was not able to kill a single base. He killed 5 SCVs in total that entire game. He did kill 8 Medivacs, which is nice, which is actually hard to do if you don't have Corruptors or Mutalisks. But 4 hatcheries killed and 1 canceled and no command centers killed in any state in this game. And that's it, man. uThermal was everywhere. His attacks were good. He held on the early Roach attack. He held on the early Ling attack pretty effectively. And yeah, those early 8, 9, 10 drones that died in the first 5 minutes, it just snowballed out of control from there. uThermal's worker count was just steadily increasing the whole time. He ends with 67, including mules. And Bly just stuck on Roach Ravager too long. He did augment with Lings and Banes, but it wasn't enough. And this is why we don't see Roach Ravager too much against Terran these days. It's just not as good. If you can get an early attack off, you can get some stuff done. But uThermal is ready for that. And then from there, Bly wasn't really able to do much of anything. All right, game 2 of this best of 3 coming at you next. We'll be right back. Game 2 is here on Disco Bloodbath. Left side and top-ish side, it is Bly. And on the right side, we got uThermal down here. Good to go, man. uThermal just picked Bly apart methodically and surgically in that game. Sometimes that happens, and sometimes the Zerg just overwhelms Terran, but last time Terran got the upper hand. So, all right, Bly, you got a chance here. You got a chance. If you lose, then you lose this best of 3, and if you win, then you get to play another game and against uThermal, which I know doesn't sound very good at this point of your life, but yeah, you got to believe in yourself, man. You actually have to believe in yourself. Okay, so let's see. What do we got? We have some good Reaper names coming up here. Really, really good ones on the list. And again, Bly disappointing us by not going for a proxy hatch, and uThermal disappointing us for not going for a proxy barracks in the early stages of this match. It's cool. It's fine. I'm not personally offended by this or anything, I don't believe. Maybe it hurts my feelings a little bit, but it wasn't on purpose. Bly wasn't trying to hurt me, and as a result, we're going to let it go, is what we're going to do here, because we are, in fact, adults. Are we adults? I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if we are adults. Regardless, God, it is that time of year here where I don't know whether to turn the cooling on or the heating on sometimes. What does it say the temperature is in here? Pretty roasty toasty. Let's fix that. Yeah, I mean, it's like 40 degrees overnight, and then it's 80 degrees in the day. It's a huge swing. Fall in this part of the country is weird that way. I mean, not just here. Other places, it's definitely the same thing, but definitely super cold at night and then really roasty toasty mid-afternoon or so. Okay, so what are we doing? Is there anything insane here happening at all? Well, you skipped. Did you skip a Reaper? Yeah, it's an SCV Scout. SCV Scout coming over, and no Reaper in production because, well, that is a reactor. And it's just going to make a couple Marines early here, which, that feels shenanigans to me. Feels like some shenanigans to me here on Disco Bloodbath, which, by the way, the disco is here. This is the disco floor. Supernova, apparently, is the name of the club or the name of this little Ewok here. I don't know. I don't know what we're looking at anyway. Yeah, but the SCV is just basically here to say, is there like a whole ton of Lings on the way right now? The answer is no. There are some Lings made to deal with a Reaper that is not going to come, which we don't know about. Again, he's doing it again. That's... Oh, and he's coming back. Oh, the SCV is preventing the Lings from moving out just by forcing them back so the third base can go down when Bly wants it to. That's amazing. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous play here. These Lings could have been coming across the map and bothering him, but instead now they're just chasing this SCV around. And the SCV allows uThermal the time to get up, I don't know, maybe a bunker, just a good number of Marines here, and call it a day. So he's got double gas. He's going for a starport here. This could be battle cruiser, ladies and gents. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the gas that's being taken here. I'm looking at the number of Marines that we have. I'm looking at... Is anything making a tech lab? Nothing's making a tech lab, so maybe not. That's another key indicator, is if one of these is building a tech lab for the starport, then it could be a battlecruiser rush. But as it stands, I don't think it is. He's double pumping something, though. Is he going for reactor Banshee? Just, okay, wow, really fast. Really, really fast Marine drop here. Okay, so he sees the number of Marines and says, ah, all right, this is like the 4.5 minute double medevac 16 Marine drop. I've seen this a few times in my day. It has wrecked Falcon more than once, I can tell you that much. And I did get advice from somebody who killed me with it once, that if you get +1 armor for your Lings, it's better. So I've tried going for +1 armor, but it's just, if you scout it, you don't have a lot of time to get an evolution chamber up and get +1 armor. It's not a very fast upgrade. And Bly's not bothering with it anyway, so we'll see how Bly handles it. He's really moving out. Boy, he's really moving out. Ooh, and there's a Widow Mine in the mix here too from uThermal. I kind of like that. And he's getting a third base behind it, which is just dead impressive. All right, man. The Lings do... Oh, the same thing here. The Lings force the medevac back. The medevacs want to be on the other side of the map killing stuff, but they can't because there's a million Lings here. Oh, that's amazing. Bly flipping it around on uThermal. Well, that was not how things were supposed to go. 15 kill Widow Mine. Ladies and gentlemen, good unit. Good unit for Terran. Ah, everything was going so well for Bly there. And then suddenly, one Widow Mine shot, which he was dodging, mind you. And now he has to replace those Lings, and he wanted to make drones with them instead. Oh, that's brutal. That's absolutely brutal that happened. Again, these games are just on the edge of a knife. They are on the edge of a wire here. It's fine. It's fine. Bly, you can come back from this, right? You got 2 queens and like 12 Lings here, maybe. Doesn't seem like maybe you can't. Oh, gosh, the Lings are getting massacred. They don't have the +1 armor. It's getting started now. Lings and queens trying to hold. Widow Mine gets picked out. Okay, that's a win for Bly. Other Widow Mine gets down and doesn't end up firing anything because the queen dodge was really good there. But yeah, the queen count is such that Bly is going to be able to hold this. Yeah, so I mean, sure, those Lings all died, which is bad. But again, they delayed the attack. They delayed this drop in time to give Bly the ability to make like 6 queens. And this is a better situation. Liberator, a little problematic. Maybe don't attack in the defender mode circles. There you go. Get out of there. Transfuses are great. Widow Mine gonna fire on something. Oh, gosh. Oh, did that friendly fire on that medevac too? Meanwhile, Hellions got in and killed all of the drones in Bly's natural and going after the ones in his main too. Oh, Bly. This is not your day here at WCS Fall. It is not your day. 21 drones killed in the first 6.5 minutes. Oh, by the way, these Hellions aren't dead yet either. 17 kill Hellion. 17! 19 kill Hellion. What is going on today with the incredibly effective Hellion play here at Bly is just dead. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but uThermal's landing his third base. Sure, Bly has a fourth. But he's at 36 drones at 7 minutes. That is so low. You want like, I don't know, 70 or at least 60 drones at this point in time. Oh my gosh, 4 more drones killed. Bly just can't ill afford to lose any more drones today at all. 5 is a bad number because it is more than 0. uThermal's army supply is 23 to 8 right now. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Bly's going to try to replant his drone count by making 11 at a time right now. But again, That needs to be saturating his 4th base at the moment instead of resaturating his main base and his 3rd, right? Right. Don't like what I'm seeing. Don't like what I'm seeing here out of Bly today. It is just not his day. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Ooh, nice. Actually throwing out an evolution chamber there to block the Hellions from getting in. That's pretty good stuff. And we're going race car mech. uThermal going for the Mag Field Accelerator. He's working on Cyclones. He's working on attack upgrades for the old warrior, for the mech stuff. Mech warrior? Brain confused. We're good. Infernal Pre-Igniter coming in here too, about 8 minutes. And the Hellions just forcing Bly to continue to make lings. Not like all the lings, right? But just making lings that he really wants to make drones instead right now. And drones when he wants to be making army right now, which is why his army is like half that of uThermal's, is because all of these drone kills that have been coming down. All right, here comes the race car mech. That is a pretty intimidating 56 supply army of a ton of Cyclones with a Mag Field Accelerator. Any roaches are going to die. Buildings are going to die really fast too. Queens, it doesn't matter with the Mag Field Accelerator because, you know, they're not armored. They're psionic. But Ling's trying to find purchase in here at all. Not doing super good on that. Yeah. Oh gosh, there are roaches. In response to this, Bly made roaches to all the Hellions. And suddenly there aren't any Hellions. It's all Hellbats and Cyclones now. How do you like them apples? Lock on a Zergling. Not particularly useful. But, you know, might as well lock on something if there's not a better target around. uThermal's up 149 to 133 supply. Army supply still about 20 up right there. Worker count is about the same, but again, Bly would like to have a larger army at the moment than he has, and that is he's not able to do so because he's going to replace the drones. He doesn't have a choice either. It's not like he could have made an army with the just middling drone count that he had. It wasn't going to happen. And then you just kite the roaches into oblivion. Whack, whack, whack. All of them die. Roaches recognizing they can't really defend here, so let's attack and make uThermal defend. But in the meantime, God, more roaches getting wrecked here. A couple Cyclones died there, which is nice. Nice for Bly. But guess who's taking a 4th base behind this? Sure, Bly's going for a 5th. But not so much anymore. uThermal's got a couple of little armies here. This one's not as fast because they're Hellbats, but they pack a punch regardless. Bly doesn't really want to engage into it. uThermal doesn't want to engage into it either. Here, Overlord down. Clear Not Creek Tumors with the Blue Flame Hellions and the Cyclones. Army supply 106 to 60 in favor of the Dutch Terran. Hellbats transforming really fasty with that servo upgrade. Using the lock on. The roaches are just standing in, taking regular damage from the Cyclones, taking lock-on damage from the Cyclones. Slow Banelings trying to get in here too, but this is just the Banelings are crashing on top of some of these units, but they're also getting kited really effectively. Bunch of Banelings down. 93 to 68 army supply, 30 Lings in production. I'm not there that 30 Lings are going to make this work for you. Decent Baneling hits here. Pretty good split stuff from uThermal, recognizing the importance of splitting against these units. Roach is trying to stand in. Ling's trying to get on top of the Cyclones on the left side where there aren't many Hellions at all. And they might actually pick off one Cyclone, and they do. But coming in again, there's just not much of a response. Just a handful of Roaches. Bly's going to just go ahead and lose this hatchery entirely here. Lock on those drones rather than on the hatch. Doesn't even matter. I don't know. uThermal's not exactly microing at this stage. He recognizes he's in a pretty good position. The burrow is not happening as the scan comes in there as well. There might just be enough from Bly to dislodge this army, maybe just barely, but at the same time, these dudes are putting in some work. 13 kills, 9 kills on a couple of these dudes. The hatchery ends up falling. Bly's back on 3 bases to a 4-basing Terran again. And somehow uThermal once again manages to win this game just in the first couple of minutes here. With a Hellion run by into the natural and into the main of all things. He just manages to make it work their hatchery down. These dudes are still here. I mean, reinforcements are part of this party for sure. All right, well, Blue Flame Hellbats are in your mineral line. That's going to be 15 drones. Roaches are trying to respond to this, but actually against Hellbats with Blue Flame surprisingly bad. And against Cyclones, just straight up bad. And there is your game type from Bly. uThermal manages to win it in 2-0. That absolute madman. The absolute madman getting the win there. Resources lost 17,000 for Bly, only 10,000 for uThermal. Yeah, it was just, again, I think I explained it pretty clearly what happened there. The worker counts went down for Bly substantially in the first 6 or 7 minutes. He replaced him, but didn't have the army to compete with what uThermal was going for. uThermal was able to expand freely behind it, get his worker count up to where he wants it to be, which would be 77, and only 2 SCVs died today, whereas 55 drones went down over the course of the match. It was just, again, a dismantling. 2 straight dismantlings of uThermal over Bly. I mean, honestly, who would have said uThermal is this much better than Bly? I don't know that I would. I'm not sure that the rankings would show that either. But today, on this day, at this moment in time, uThermal outclassed Bly substantially 2-0. So, nice job by him, and that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself. World of Sleepers, the latter edition. It is do or die for Masa. Win or go home. Round of 16s are often that way. It's going to be the bottom left-hand corner on this map. It is Masa. Still Canadian and still Terran. You can't switch races in the middle of a series. And in the top right, we got the Red Zerg player Stephano. Looking pretty good, man. And I mean, that is the nature of series, though. You can have 2 kind of longer games, right? Where a lot of stuff's going on back and forth. And then a quick 5-minute little, whoa, what happened? And suddenly you're down 2-1. I mean, that is the perfect time to go for a Roach Nidus Queen play, is when you're tied up 1-1. If you can win that pivotal game 3, which Stephano did, you have the upper hand going from here on out. And Masa, he needs to win 2 games in a row against a player who's looked pretty good today. Stephano has looked pretty fantastic here today. So nothing crazy still yet. He didn't go for the pool first in this particular match. He did in game 1, but hasn't since then. And Masa, just, again, he doesn't believe in proxies, it would seem here. Kind of feel like it'd do pretty well. This is a pretty big map, though. It would take a while for the SCVs to get across there, start building a barracks. You always have to worry about overlords coming to scout you out. That's what this overlord is about right here. Specifically, is looking for those proxies, because Zerg players hate using drones to look for them, because it means you die in the mid-game if you pull a drone off the map, or off of the minerals this early. I don't know. I don't think it matters for you and me, the gold, platinum, diamond level StarCraft player, maybe even silver or bronze. It really doesn't matter if you pull one drone off to go looking around for a barracks. It might keep you alive, honestly, too, but if you want to get to the Masters Grandmaster level, it's not as good of an idea. So, Reaper on the way. Reaper's name is Jafar, the evil magic sorcerer of Agrabah. Jafar thought he had everything he wanted: the kingdom, great magical power, Jasmine, and a genie who still had to grant one more wish. In his final confrontation with Aladdin, the street rat pointed out that the genie was more powerful than Jafar would ever be. Jafar thought about it and decided that the only thing more powerful than a genie was death itself, so Jafar wished to be a Reaper. He really should have worded that wish better. And here he is. This is Jafar from Disney's Aladdin. I didn't watch the live remake. I watched the cartoon version 100,000 times because my little sister was way into it. She was probably 2 or 3 when it came out. We got it on VHS, and she watched that thing 2 or 3 times a day for the whole summer, and it was a lot of Aladdin, man. There was a point I think I could just recite the whole thing, every line, every bit of every song, just from memory, which can't do it anymore, but that's still too much Aladdin, I think, for one person's life. I don't think she remembers doing this. I talked to her about it recently, and she's like, I don't remember watching that much Aladdin. I was like, yeah, you were very little at the time here. Reaper Jafar trying to get that creep tumor, not going to happen. The Lings are out for Stephano this game. He did not skip the Lings this time, and I think it's helping him quite a bit. These are freaking me out, man. I keep thinking these are Hellions, but it's too early for Hellions. They're not here yet. Still waiting on that reactor. The factory just floating above there. Jets burning. I still feel like Terran buildings that are flying should eventually have to land. Just saying. Just saying. 5-10 minutes, they have to land. It would just mean that Terrans couldn't force draws in situations where they're dead. That's all. That's all I want. It's dumb. Alright, so Stephano, drone. He's doing all the droning. No Roach Horn yet, no Baling Nest either. Indicates we're going for more of a macro style here. Masa, once again, going for the pretty quick starport.
pretty quick starport and a pretty quick third command center here too. Let's see. Third, yeah, not as easy to hold this third base unless you mine these out, which not that bad actually. Honestly, not that bad. Wait, hold on. Did he already? No, 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 no. Turn left. Turn left. Are these not? I don't. What am I freaking out about here? Are these? Is this map not mirrored? Oh, it's over here. Okay, so that's where his minerals are. Dang it, Falcon, you're blind sometimes. Okay, we're good. I have not played much on World of Sleepers, and again, I'm fairly map blind. I should not be. It is a weakness of mine for sure. But I basically, when I get on a map, I'm like, where am I? Where is my opponent? Where are my expansions? Where can they expand? Go. Like, I really don't pay attention to a lot of other stuff, which leads to weird expansion patterns when I play 2v2s with Somicron, which he always makes fun of me for. But, Yara, are we going for a battlecruiser attempt again? No? Once again, Cloaked Banshee. Masa's going back to that well. He's like, you know what got me that win before was Cloaked Banshees. Stephano was not ready for it. He's going for some roaches here, getting that +1 ground carapace, getting a lair here too. Banshee Cloaking Field is just about done. Doesn't actually take that long to finish, at least not compared to Hyperflight Rotors, which is a great upgrade and takes a while. Yep, Queen count continuing here. He's got 3, 4, maybe 5. Yeah, he's got 5 with another one on the way. So if it was a battlecruiser, he'd be able to handle it. Creep spread getting pushed back by Masa. That's a pretty good victory there. Slowing down Stephano's creep spread is almost a must. He's going to try to push it so far. The problem with going Cloaked Banshee is, if you're preparing for a battlecruiser, the answer is basically going to be the same thing as it is against Cloaked Banshee. Cloaked Banshees do manage to sneak up here, though. Take down 3 drones. Okay, 3 drones is acceptable losses. Where is your Spore at the third base? Banshee could go right in there. Decloaking, getting some shots off on those roaches. That's a lot of roaches all of a sudden. Masa needs a tank. He needs a tank real bad. That is way too many roaches to just be defensive at this stage. He's pulling back with his Hellions. They're not going to be all that much use. The tank immediately starts getting produced here. This is a walk down from Stephano, ladies and gentlemen. He's bringing his queens across the map. He's going to try. Oh, Banshee gets picked off thanks to the Overseer and thanks to the queen's range there. 6 more roaches on the way. Stephano wants to go home. He doesn't want another 18-minute game 1 at all. He wants to win this thing now. If Masa can hold, again, he's going to force another game here, which would be really nice, but he's invested a lot into these Banshees and into Hyperflight Rotor. He's making tanks as fast as he can. He's landing a third base to help with income. There's Ravagers getting morphed right at the front door. And the Banshees are going to be huge here. But the Queens are here specifically to handle the Banshees. Where'd that Overseer go? There he is. There's your Overseer. And Banshees cannot transfuse themselves. They can get repaired. This is pretty intense stuff for Masa. He's working on upgrades. He's got these Hellions. They're effectively useless against this particular composition. If they were Hellbats, it'd be a different story, but keeping the tanks alive is going to be a big deal. Supply Depot's getting rocked down. Masa is supply blocked fairly heavily now. Roach is sneaking on into the natural base, trying to pick some units off there. Taking Banshee hits in the meantime. Krosabal's trying to hit them, but nice dodge by Masa. Hellions just trying to get as much damage as they can at the front. If you damage enough of the Queens, they can't transfuse each other. Tanks at the back doing some work here. 2 kills on that one, 2 kills on that one. This one getting focused down. Krosabal's, and they do finish it off. This one needs to siege up. The Hellions are trying to buffer as well as they can, but just moving on in. Is our Reaper still alive? He was still alive for a second there, as a KDA charge did happen, but 26 SCVs have been killed. Stephano is way up. This is not a huge Zerg army, but it's a terrifying Zerg army, just based on the situation here. 5 kills and 6 kills on those Ravagers. Queens don't do a ton of DPS. Slowlings coming up right now from Stephano, which is hilarious. Third base getting attacked by roaches. 2 here, more Banshees in production, more tanks in production, and the natural base is absolutely evacuated. Roaches in here. SCV's trying to fight them. 34, 35 have gone down. More roaches coming across the map here. Masa had advance warning of this, but he wasn't able to prepare adequately. The Banshees were not enough. The Queens were able to hold them off. And these roaches, how many kills? 5 kill roach there. Eventually does get taken down, but more and more roaches and Ravagers are streaming across the map. Stephano's droning up a little bit. He's expanded behind this. This is not as super duper all in, but it's looking super bad for Masa regardless. Corrosive Piles, and the both tanks do end up going down too close to the edge, and good game. Stephano manages to win games 3 and 4 in record pace there. Okay, not record pace, but still very quickly, 13 minutes total for both of those games. And Stephano's like, you know what? I don't think you're prepared for this, Masa. You went for a very quick third base. You went for Banshees, which are not great if the Queens decide to walk across the map. They're really good if the Queens stay home. And it's just Roach Ravager trying to do stuff, but with the Queens around and the Overseers, it was too much. He started tank production, but it was too late. I mean, he got advance warning. He just didn't have enough time or the resources to make it happen. Not with the quick third base that he took there, too. Woo! Yeah, he should have stuck on 2 bases behind those Banshees. Maybe made a few more tanks. I mean, honestly, if he's got 3 or 4 tanks behind this wall, Stephano has a much harder time breaking it, without question. The Banshees are able to sit back with the tanks and pick off units that get too close. The third base can be kept alive a little bit longer. And yeah, in the end, Stephano making it happen and takes a very convincing 3-1 lead, or 3-1 victory rather, over Masa in this round of 16 series. I think he goes into play special in the next round, which I might do next Sunday. Let me know in the comments if there's a particular series from WCS Fall you want me to cast, as I know a bunch of you watched a bunch of that. I don't, some of you didn't watch any of it. Some of you have watched some of it. And that's why I cast these games, is just to give a little bit more of a spotlight, my own personal flavor onto some of these series, and hope you enjoy them. Hope that you enjoy them for sure. But yeah, man, we're looking at really effective stuff there from Stephano. He lost only 3,000 resources to 7,600 for Masa. A lot of that was 34 SCVs that were killed during that attack. A bunch of supply depots, supply blocking him until his army died to the point where he didn't need the supply anymore. 5 tanks got killed. A Reaper named Jafar went down there too. Did toss down one last KD8 charge in the middle of those roaches and sent them flying. But it wasn't enough to win the day, unfortunately. So, good game for Stephano. Vive la France, man. It's super duper, duper impressive stuff. But, yeah, I guess that's going to be it for me today. I thought the series would be a little bit longer, but when it's done, it's done. So that's going to be it from me. This is Ben Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.